landowner, I have no idea, but we're gonna try to dig into this.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more alley questions? We need to try to figure it out, because it's confusing. All right, I got down my list. Mr. Morley. Paula Turner,
I'm here, but I put no, I don't have anything.
okay,
Thank you.
and like I said, I didn't even look at the notes. Thank you all. So, I think it's back. Anybody else here that I missed that would like to make a public comment for it? We go on to the agenda. All right, town manager.
So we have had lots of excitement. This has been our office for the week, and probably for the next couple of weeks. Because of the bat infestation, we got a couple quotes for the removal of the bats, and cleaning and disinfecting and all that stuff. And so with that, I would like to recommend that we go with District Wildlife Solutions. They both quotes were comparable, but they were $3,000 cheaper, which we can then use towards the duct cleaning and the deep cleaning of the building once the company is done removing all of the guano and whatever else is up there. That's.
All right, so, would anybody on the council like to entertain motion to approve one of the two bids that we have for the bat removal, and fixing so that we don't have any come back? I'll make a motion.
I have one question, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
With district, is this a guarantee? I mean,
5 years.
5 years? Okay. All right.
See on file, the.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to understand.
Yep. Make a motion that we go with the District Wildlife Solutions.
Do we get to know the amounts of these or no?
Say that if you want.
Okay. Thank you.
For $9,050. All right, so we have a motion to accept the bid, put in by District Wildlife Solutions in the amount of $9,050. There's a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Now, while they're here, and they're doing the work, can you get posted on the back box?
He's giving us, he's gonna put one up there on the chicken.
Because they're gonna come back eventually, but if you give them a place to live, where they go. We actually should really consider putting back boxes periodically throughout town. Because that agrees, gas had a problem with them, and they had to go up there and the same issue.
When they said what they were going to do is whatever they're doing to block it will allow the bats that are in there to leave,
Right.
but not come back in.
Yeah.
Mr. Mason, the other,
Bid was over $12,000.
I just thought that the exterminator that we paid $4,000 for would have done something to take care of that kind of stuff. I mean,
No, that was like with the termites aren't included in that either.
wow.
Yeah, so the termites cost us additional $2,000, this is costing us. After all the final cleanup and everything, probably $10,000.
Yeah.
The wastewater treatment plant expansion, we had a meeting, on the 16th. And there's a need for additional meetings because the funding is, the majority of it is grant funding, but not 100%. So I have raised the concerns and they are listening that if the northern towns cannot afford to pay for the loans, that would mean Greensboro getting left out to hang, and is that not acceptable? So if they cannot guarantee it, then like doesn't move forward because it's
We're not gonna keep on paying for these other towns.
so we're kind of, and Leslie is also, right on board with that. Her and I have raised several flags and let the, funders, it's USDA, MDE. And then the, federal earmark money that we have. We have enough right now to start the project, which would be expanding the plant, but why would we expand the plant if we're not gonna add additional towns on, so.
Right, because it wasn't our decision to expand it, they
Yeah.
come up with the funding for it.
So-
Get it?
There's gotta be a lot more conversation, I'm not pushing for it to move forward and have kind of, well, I've kind of clarified why I've been dragging my feet because it's just, we can't. Take on any financial burden like that.
I do have a question. Have we ever met with GoPro and we're to the rate?
Lindsay and I, once this is approved. are going to-
Because it's the same thing with them, you have to have a public hearing and everything else, right there. right?
Yeah, that, theirs is, I don't know how to really explain it, they can't really
Right,
oppose it.
correct.
If there's valid increases, that's just the way it is, because they have to cover their share. We are working on fiscal year ends, we are reviewing the payment options for the bills, talking a lot about making things a little bit fair for everybody, if there's, people that are on social security and things like that, it pays once a month, so. But it's not real fair to have payments due every other week. So we're working on that, and there will be a bunch of information that's going to get sent out prior to the next bill going out, because there'll be the rate increase. And we want to have a clearer payments, plan in place for everybody. We advertised for a part-time position. So far, we have received over 40 resumes. And it's going to be, very thorough vetting process, because we need somebody very, qualified and we'll just be very qualified, and we are going to require testing before, anybody moves beyond the first interview.
Thank you.
So, George, are you George?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, they didn't give me your last name, so I apologize, but I see that you're here, so we'd like to let you hang now, so you don't have to remain for the rest of the meeting. You are with Susquehanna new wastewater treatment provider, so welcome, and, please help give us some information about it.
Thank you, and last name is Smith.
Yeah, okay.
So we did an initial assessment of the water well houses and the wastewater plant, and I sent you a summary of those. I don't know if you had a chance to look those over.
Yeah.
On the water side, basically, the only real issues we see that need immediate attention is you're using 100% gas chlorine, and it's been used for years, like a lot of municipalities. There is a safety issue there. Typically, what I have our operators do is one operator will go in and change that cylinder. Another operator will be standing outside with a 30-minute air pack holding their mask, ready to rescue that person. At the moment, you don't have an SCA at all. But something we ought to look into. The existing chlorine scales, they're shot, which is typical. I see this all the time. Because of age, they sit in a very corrosive environment. We're required to record how many pounds per day of gas chlorine we're using. So right now, we're really just estimating that. Based on rotometer settings. Is it a big issue today? No. Typically, what we like to do is, we want to give you a 5-year capital improvement recommendation. Based on year 1 through 5. And we keep that a moving average every year. We'll update it every year. So one of the things that we would put on that is, we recommend you do away with gas chlorine and go to liquid hypochlorite. It's a whole lot safer. Costs more money, but if you've ever seen a 150-pound bottle shot off, and I have, it killed the grass in the whole water plant. And we had trailers next door, campers. Fortunately, no one was there. Could have been a catastrophe. The wastewater side, we did a pretty thorough initial assessment of it. The biggest problem you have today is the programming on how the plant's running. There's no way you will ever meet total nitrogen reduction the way the plant was running, because it's being run strictly as an aerobic process. Sequencing batch reactors, SBRs, are set up to run on time basis where it's aerobic, meaning you're putting oxygen in with the blowers. And then there should be time periods where it goes anox. No blowers, just mixing. The way this works, I put you a little nitrogen chart together. So at the beginning of the cycles, when one SBR starts taking raw sewage, it's coming in and it's mostly all ammonia. Okay? During the aerobic process, 2 specific bacteria convert that ammonia to nitrate. And it has to be done under aerobic conditions. Those 2 bacteria must have oxygen and alkalinity. The next cycle is, we want to go anoxic. We cut the air off and keep the mixing. 3 more specific denitrifying bacteria start converting that nitrate to total nitrogen. They're reducing it. And if you get through the complete process, it's nitrogen gas released to atmosphere. On the chart, if you look just to the right in red, that's where you're at. You're converting ammonia to nitrate because the plant was strictly being run aerobically. Now, when the plant went online, I know for a fact, because my operator that works for me put this plant online when he worked for Miller. You had time sequences in there, so it was aerobic and then we go anoxic. We have put the time sequences back in. I give you another chart, this one. Your permit, your discharge permit says, on an annual average, you cannot discharge any more than 4 milligrams per liter of total nitrogen. And you can see January through May, if you look at total nitrogen down at the bottom in the little green block, you're already at 4.3. You're in violation potentially if we keep the same trend till the end of the year. We can turn this trend around very quickly, and we already started that by reprogramming the HMI computer. So can we get you down to 4? No question about that. Where we want to get you there is to down to 3 milligrams per liter of nitrogen, 0.3 for phosphorus, so that you're eligible for the $30,000 grant at the end of the year from MDE. And I suspect you haven't gotten that in multiple years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we do that? It's possible. Can't promise you we're gonna make it, but we're gonna try like heck to get you there. We understand how important that $30,000 is. There were some other issues. The wastewater plant. One's already been corrected. the grit valve that opens and closes when the piston grit works to remove grit. The actuator limit switch is wrong. We had quantum controls come out and fix that. So that's done. The methanol system. You have 1,000-gallon double wall tank there to feed methanol. And the problem is the tank and the pumps were designed to pump at design flow, and you're not there. So the pumps are trying to run at their minimum speed and they kept getting airbound and not feeding. So the solution is we're gonna have a 500-gallon delivery made. And then we're gonna dilute it with 500 gallons of water. Then we can double the speed of the pumps so that they'll consistently pump and not get airbound. It's also safer. Methanol is extremely flammable. And there's no firefighting equipment there at all at the tank. So we're recommending you at least get an appropriate size class 3 fire extinguisher to be mounted in proximity there. So that will take care of that issue. The SBRs, I think I've pretty much covered. The last thing we saw is that there was a sludge management issue. I particularly didn't like the way they were wasting sludge to all the beds at one time because it never lets them dry out. So we want to switch over. We're going to do 2 beds at a time, let the others dry. Your subcontractor did start cleaning out a bed, so that's going to give us so that I have promised Ms. Ryan is that we're going to buy a moisture analyzing machine for about $4,000 to use to calculate your mixed liquor suspended solids. The method you're using today, it's a filter system with a vacuum pump and a drying oven and desiccant. I quit using those 20 years ago. Okay. The moisture analyzer will give us a result in 3 hours. You pour 20 mils in a dish, close the lid, hit the button, set start. We will buy that. It will remain our equipment, but used strictly here at Greensville. Gordon, did I miss anything?
Don't think so.
Okay. With me tonight is Jordan Smith. He's going to be your project manager. I ask that all communications go through him. Feel free to copy me. We want to have great communications with you. And typically, the way we do that is I want everything in emails or text messages. You got a paper trail on your side, I've got a paper trail on my side. No misunderstandings. Questions I can answer for you.
I'm gonna ask you a question about the chart, but you answered it.
I'm sorry, what?
I was gonna ask you a question about your chart, but you answered it, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. We're glad to be here. We appreciate the job.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there a PCO associated with these changes?
Is there a way?
A PCO change order associated with these changes?
No, didn't cost any extra money
Okay.
as far as what you're paying us. Our fee is fixed.
So the RFP, you included all that stuff in your RFP?
In our bid, all this was included. Our price doesn't change as long as we don't go outside the scope of services. Just not a penny more, not a penny less every month.
Just asking.
The only thing that would change is if we get called in for an emergency, there's a 2-hour minimum charge.
I get it.
Well, Mr. Smith, you certainly came to us highly recommended, and it's obvious that you're very knowledgeable about what you're doing, and we were tickled to death that you accepted our offer, and glad that you have you here. It's good to hear some good information, because years past has been difficult for us to get a straight answer sometimes. But no point looking back, and just move forward, and if there's anything that we can do to make it easier for you, or if you need something that we can provide, please let Brandon, Brandon or Tammy, let them know, and we'll do our best to make it happen.
Certainly, we appreciate that. And we thank you again for hiring us. Not to toot our own horn, but we are experts at this. I've been doing this for 42 years. So we will get you in compliance and hopefully get you that grant money.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, we'd like to have a signed contract.
So I have two copies here, you can take your time with it, and I'll get the name. It's the copy that, Ryan said.
All right, so, Tammy, you were done, I assume, correct?
Yeah.
So Lindy, you're next on the agenda. Lindy, I'm sorry, Carla.
That's all right, it's happened before, we don't have anything.
All right, thank you. Anybody have anything for Carla before we move on? Yeah.
Off the hook.
Keep calm.
All right, had a pretty steady month and a half, I guess, that's July 4th. I'm not gonna read every stat to you, but I'll give you the highlight. We served 5 warrants. Made quite a few traffic arrests, excluded in the musketeers, like driving without a license, driving while suspended. Had quite a few toll tracks, 20 violations for speeding. We had 50 traffic stops last month. 16 citations and 44 warnings. We had 1 unattended death. And there was no suspicion of foul play, with that, fall. So, in looking forward to the speed camera, we did have a company called Ultimate that did the speed study in the area of North Main Street and Greensboro Elementary School. They had a camera or a speed measuring device that actually captured both ways. It was actually up for 7 days, however, the days that are allowed is Monday through Friday. So we captured 5 days as if it was actually, in service. I provided you guys with a graph that looks like this. And the speed data, which I'll just kind of highlight for all of the 5 days. So, on June 26th, it captured 1,833 cars. Speed limit is 25 miles per hour. There's a 12 mile per hour grace speed. So on that day, it captured, if it was in effect, 73 violations. On June 27th, 1,880 cars, 73 violations. On June 28th, 1,982 cars, 93 potential violations. July 1st, 1,891 cars, 100 potential violations. And on July 2nd, 1,888 cars with 92 potential violations. The chart actually depicts what it would be if those were turned into income or revenue. Total revenue for the 5 days, it was 9,474 cars that were analyzed, 431 potential violations, and without. So the cost of the revenue would be the amount the town would get after the fees, and it was $12,068. School was not in.
We'll take 5.
So
That just paid for that infestation.
Yeah.
So, the gentleman, this company that we like, of course, we'll have to go into more detail. They're out of Maryland. I think the company was out of Ohio. This guy, I talked to him on the phone, he came right over, he did job, so he is local. And the guy that runs this is a retired police officer, which I like. I believe that with the traffic survey, that this would be a profitable thing. Now, we all talk about, oh, it's all about the money. The money's part of it, but the main goal is to change people's driving, behaviors in the zone of the school. I know people go back and forth about, oh, it's a moneymaker, but our main goal is to change people's driving habits, for the safety of the kids. And if that comes at a cost, then, it does, but it looks like with that study, it's a pretty good indicator that if we were to put one up, it would be profitable.
It's only a moneymaker because money is a deterrent.
Well, yeah,
If there wasn't a fine associated with it, then it wouldn't be good. So this means that all these violations of cars are going at least 38 mile an hour. Sometimes in these results I've seen where they had the high speeds and the low, so I don't know what the highest speed you got out there was.
actually, this one does give the high speed, it gave the average speed and the 85th percentile speed, but I did not get the high speed. I could probably,
What was the average speed you got?
we got 34, so that's the 85th percentile, so, at least, 85% of the vehicles were doing 34 miles per hour.
Which is still too.
I have a question. I thought about that, but would you know, the light up there by Tiger Mark used to be Ken.
Can you just hold that question?
I'm sorry.
I'll get to that later. I got an answer for you later.
Do you know I'm gonna ask though?
No, I already had the answer. You're not stealing my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's fine.
I'll get back to that.
All right.
So chief, if we were to do this, the money's gonna come into the general fund. All revenues captured. You planning on earmarking it for like safety, helmets, or is this money gonna be spent on something?
It's not, the chief doesn't get the
I know
earmark money,
Proposal, so I'm trying to plant the seed so when it comes back, that's the proposal.
but it can be used,
Can't hear you out there,
Oh.
you gotta speak up.
used for anything for public safety.
So the money that's captured or revenue to the town from the speed camera, it will be earmarked for public safety. So it doesn't mean that all the money will go to the police department. It could be used for, sidewalks, roadways, crosswalks. So it's not, it all doesn't go to it's allocated to the town to be used for public safety. So if we need like new lights on the cars, or if we wanted to mark the cars, or, anything public safety related within the town.
What do we need to do to move forward with this if the council decides to move forward?
So I didn't know if I recommended a company, if they come in and give their spiel, or do you guys vote on, the company? I'm not sure what the process is, but,
Well, one thing we haven't heard is the price.
so, we looked at 3 companies. The one company, you had to purchase, the cameras. The one company that I looked at, the camera only captured one way, so if you wanted 2 ways, you'd have to purchase 2 cameras. One of those cameras was $30,000. And you don't have to pay it back, but as you get revenue, that's how you pay it back. So that was kind of interesting. The other company, you actually had to buy the camera, and it's a trailer that you move around. I think Fredericksburg uses the trailer that you move around, but every time that you move it, you have to start the 30 days, and then you're paying for that, over the course.
This company.
Oh, this company?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this company is free. That's awesome.
My next question was, if you move the 3 companies in, I want to know which one you recommend. So if this is the one you recommend, then I don't have a problem.
I recommend a free company.
Well, it's not so much the cost that it's free, it's the fact that you're capturing the data, it's capturing both ways.
Yes,
You've done the study, they're working with you, you say you're comfortable working with the vendor, so that's half the battle.
yeah, and this vendor, you know, they're local here in the state of Maryland, I believe they're in Southern Maryland. The other two companies were out of state, but I like somebody who's, you know, if I have a problem, they can send somebody as opposed to, you know, they have to get on a plane and fly here. So I like this company, which is Ultimate. The cameras are free. If we capture, you know, violations, they make money and we make money, so. I would
I
recommend.
have two questions. One is, can they show us a picture of what the camera and the box that is enclosed is gonna look like? You know, how it's mounted, where it's mounted, what it does look like? And then, the second question is, do they handle all the violations and handle it with money? In other words, I know you would have to go in and approve the violation, but once that is sent to them, then they take care of all the administrative work, and who collects the money?
So I did ask, I said, you know, how does this work? So if there's a violation, then I think 3 people at that company reviews it, and then they send it to me to review. There's certain criteria, you know, it has to have a full, you know, picture, you know, can't be blurred. But once their eyes look at it, then they send it to me. I will be the person to approve or reject the fines. They handled the courthouse and all the traffic docket. If they need to send a representative, you know, let's say that an attorney is questioning the device, then they'll send it. They pay for the signage through SHA, so they do all of the legwork. It is $12 per ticket that they charge to do all of the legwork. And then we'll get the remainder $28. So I mean, you know, talking to the guy, you know, it seems like they do it all, you know, for the people.
So we don't have to get permission from the state to put those cameras out on the state road.
So I gave him the name of the road. He said that he looked it up. He could get in contact with SHA to actually put the appropriate signs up. He would mount it on a pole about 10 to 12 feet above the ground. We looked at a couple of poles, you know, in the area, and they have power to it. So when he came out and checked out a couple of poles, and
So it's not in a box.
So Easton, you know, has thermal cameras. It's not a box. It's mounted, you know, 10 to 12 feet up. It's got has 3 cameras and a flash. So just it's like a ground. Yeah.
So-
like red light ticket.
So then if the council wishes, then I would suggest to the chief that you have the chief bring the representative in with, prepared with a contract for us to review and answer any questions that you guys might have from them, so we can move forward with this and decide. Does that sound like a good idea, or do you want to act on it tonight?
I mean,
I would like that.
yeah.
We can bring the contract.
I can get it started before school starts.
Yeah,
School will be in session
I'm
before
ready to
long.
I'll vote on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to move now,
Right.
contract issue between the attorney and others, they can work out, keep up with the contract, but.
Have you done with the contract? What's wrong for?
I mean, as long as we put it off, as long as this thing up,
Okay,
school
We're
starts.
gonna kick the can till August, and school's gonna.
So, I trust the chief, so I'm.
No, Phil's purchasing the same company, correct?
Yeah, no,
But they have contract.
Yeah.
right, and Liz's office actually has looked through contacts through Phillipsburg. We had a speed camera, so they're very familiar with it.
So Carly, do we need to do this just by, motion, in a vote, or do
Yeah,
we
you
need to
can-
do a
you can motion
resolution,
it.
or?
Motion to move forward with the contract, and then we'll work on the details. So you can make a motion contingent on reaching a mutually agreeable contract.
Okay, I should proceed with the traffic cameras. Give the chief of the.
Do you have the name of it, just to put it on record, the name of the company?
Yes, Ultimate, and I'll get the exact spelling.
It's right here.
Ultimate.
And that, with our attorney, they look to, comment out on a acceptable contract.
Right, so the motion on the floor then is to accept the recommendation from the chief to move forward with the speed cameras in the school zone out here on North Main Street with the vendor, that he just said, because I forgot the name. Ultimate, assuming that we can, reach a satisfied contract with that vendor with our attorney. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, anything else, chief?
No,
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, chief, real quick, I do want you to keep that in the back of your mind about Sunset. I got up there at that preschool.
yes, I did ask the rep, because I said, with the other school, and I mentioned that we had a preschool on Sunset, which has, and he said he wasn't sure he's going to look into it, and it had to have been one, I want to say kindergarten through 12th. So he wasn't sure if we could do it at a preschool. So I'll ask it.
Thank you. Brandon.
All right, met with Ralph out and his crew out to 101 Rose Street. We think we got a resolution, so tomorrow morning we got a meeting, trying to put that, lay that to bed. Met with Baldwin and Reliable Contractor. Out on Hobbs. Well, they're putting the curb and gutter in. There was a couple of things, the tree had to be removed, the fire hydrant had to be shifted back behind the sidewalk. The fire hydrant's been moved, tree hasn't been, but they, Reliable started bringing their equipment in yesterday. And then today they actually started going to work on that. And all the moving the fire hydrant and everything involved, that was on his dock. And, he actually got the plans from Trista. From the soil conservation. So, he's got to do some stormwater management behind the property. And I get from what he talked about, Dave from underground construction is the one that's going to be doing that. As soon as that's done, he's going to start building. Been helping Susquehanna get familiar with the plant. Been pretty good. I would say, I know it's still new, but the communication aspect is definitely there. They don't let you know anything without them doing it first, or notifying us first.
Right.
We had the North Main water leak, that we had. That ended up being a service line, instead of digging all the way across the road and putting a patch here and there. We had it floating on it from J.R. Smith with a sleeve and got them all hooked up. Went around cleaning some storm drains out. Yesterday, the fire hydrants were flushed. Noticed that there was some chlorine not getting to the end of the line. So it was a good thing that we were flushing them, so that way the changes that they're making with the chlorine, they'll be able to adjust. And so far, 2 of the rebeds have been empty out there. Got 5 more, but the rain kind of has dampened just a little bit. And of course, as he was saying, they were using all of them at once, so. The game plan is, hey, we'll get this, get them all empty. Then we'll plan on maybe next year just doing 3 of them. And then the following year, so we'll alternate. That's about it.
Brandon. All right, thank you, Brandon.
And
Down.
You gotta reach Amanda.
We went to MML and I learned more about these, AI programs. So I've just been kind of working with the ones that we already have access to in our computer systems and integrating them in to our daily, programs. It kind of came to a halt
this week though, because it's pretty hard to manipulate any kind of programs on our laptop remotely. So I'll start that back up whenever we get back in the normal office. Kids in the Park Day, I put it in the notes that it's gonna be held after the Cops and Mobbers Vision Day, but just to make that very clear, it's like 12 to 2. Like immediately after the fishing derby, we're gonna have that, so we're just gonna make a big day of it. The November 8th coat drive is coming along really well. We have a lot of community resources coming together for that. It's gonna go great. Code enforcement has been different on a personal level. I had to have a conversation with Jamie about it. We're kind of reevaluating how that gets done. Just because of the state of the economy and everything, I really feel like it's not fair to send a code violation and then immediately follow it up with a fine. So what we did was we sent out the violations and then, if it came back that it was a repeat, we've done everything we can to reach out to them to go, hey, this is what's going on. Even if it's not something that they could get fixed immediately, like, hey, what is your plan? Like, what are you looking to do? Just so that we kind of open up that line of communication where we're not the bad guy. Like, we're not trying to like come after you. We're just trying to get the town cleaned up. Like, how can we help? Is there something that we're missing? You know, everybody's got stuff going on in our life, so we're just trying not to be shoving people. So Jimmy and I, with Jamie's approval, and trying to come up with a different procedure for that. I know Dave had actually brought it up. We had to be like, haha, we already talked about it. But that's kind of where we're at. That now. Yeah. And then the website, I sent you guys a message. It is live, Chris. The new website is live. I have not posted it on Facebook. We have the training for it on Friday, and I didn't feel comfortable posting, hey, the new website's live, because as with all new websites, there's always something that's going on. I didn't want to post it and the resident be like, this doesn't work, and I not have the capability to jump on there and fix it. So after the training on Friday, I'll post that the new website is live with a breakdown of all the new things that are on there. But I just want to wait until we're all trained and can help people.
You talking tomorrow or next week?
The training's tomorrow. Yeah, so it's later in the afternoon, so it might be Monday before I make a post, but
Yeah, we'll put it live to you back in there.
yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with that. We've had a lot of people struggling to find us. We're trying to make everybody as aware as possible. Not easy, not everybody has access to social media. So we've got a lot of phone calls and a lot of, I'll just walk outside and wave you down so you can walk over here. It's just out of the norm for a lot of people, so trying to get used to walking over here. So.
When can you sign that agreement?
Oh, I have a note on that. It's en route. Couple weeks, a week. I don't remember, but it's en route. We got an email today that said it was en route, and Brandon got the old sign down. Oh, Brandon and the rest of Public Works got the old sign down.
What's your name
Well, I didn't want to just say
I know.
Penny and then not say building, so everybody got the new sign, the old sign down, and Brandon and them got it dug out for the new sign to go in. We're gonna go with Bill Rose for the electric that's got to hook up to it. It's still under what it was approved to use for the sign. We're really excited about that. And we're way over on sponsorships, way by like several $1,000s on sponsorships for the car show. And Bay Country Cleaners outside of Greensboro just gave us $500 extra. So we were able to open up Music Fest for free. So we're hoping that brings in more people to, you know, buy food from the vendors or, you know, do any little extra to the basketball program or what have you. So that worked out really well.
So, can I elaborate a little bit? So basically, we're gonna have a couple of random donation buckets, and just because we know that the economy has took a toll on everybody. And when me and Amanda sat down and we're, you know, brainstorming these ideas, we figured that was probably the best way to, we've got the community support, so why not, with the sponsorship, so why not give back to something that they can enjoy, that's not gonna cost them harm.
Yeah, because it never was the town's objective to pay for the event, or to make money on the event, so you're, it was a great idea, we're very fortunate that people have reached out and been generous enough that we're like now able to allow the citizens to come and do it. So hopefully, they'll be able to see their names on signs and stuff out there, so that they can thank the businesses when we go and see.
Just one thing, our objective is to make money, but not for our pockets. It's to go for the basketball program and the sensory. We're trying to do a sensory equipment at the park, and one of our council members, Christina, had a pretty good idea about putting it out to the Jesse Sutton Park because it's already kind of enclosed off. So we're looking at some different options for that. So we do want to make money off this event, but it's for those reasons.
Right, and I knew that, but I misspoke. So
Yeah, I
thank
just.
you for saying.
Hey, how's our sign gonna be controlled? Who's gonna be controlling it or what is
But
it?
town hall has control.
Ever like a laptop or
Yeah,
something?
we'll be able to remote access into it.
So we can put all our events in there or meetings, so.
Or hey, town hall's shut down because of that, you know, whatever.
Yeah, there you go, right, yeah. Over there.
Over there, yes. That's where we are.
All right, anybody else have anything for me? No, thank you. All right, moving along, we have a budget amendment. Carly, you want to speak on that? There's some confusion about whether or not we needed to do a resolution or not.
Yep, so, it is very simple. So, originally, we discussed possibly doing an ordinance to do the budget amendments that had been discussed, in the past, month or so. But, as it is, the charter actually allow it, which doing an ordinance, as you guys are familiar with by now, probably, doing an ordinance requires a public hearing, so it just kind of drags out the process. The charter actually provides that, the council can, vote to approve transfer of funds from one line item to another without doing an ordinance. So as long as the total, adopted budget, like the total amount in the budget stays the same, which is the case. So, Tammy, if you would like to could you give an overview of what those line items look like? And then, the mayor and council can discuss and do a motion to approve that if that's the.
We've been provided with a copy that you need her to read them aloud or.
Yeah, that may be helpful just to have on the record that that's what you're voting on, because I don't know if anybody wants to actually make the motion with the full thing. But I do think that would probably be the best way to do it for the sake of the record and for public awareness.
Do I need to be specific at each line or just salary and personnel?
You can just do buckets like that.
Okay.
And for the record, just know these are the changes that were agreed upon at the June 20th meeting.
Correct.
And these were the changes everybody, when we went over and everybody agreed to. It didn't change the bottom line, but it changed the line item within that budget.
Correct.
Okay, so. Most of these are, salary and personnel changes, so. Under general. Under general, the total amount was, changed to 273,610. Under police. 395,410. Public works is $222,308. All the changes to, for the general funds went to an increase in the principal debt service payments. Increasing that to $105,329.98. Sewer salary and personnel changed to $146,878. that allowed an increase to principal debt service payments of $69,580.96. Sewer collection personnel amended to 36,580. Goldsboro, 64,550. The last one is water. Change of salary and personnel to $100,850, which allowed for an increase payment to principal debt service. And around $45,053.
So again, those were the same changes that were discussed at the June 20th meeting. Nothing has changed since then, and the bottom line of the budget is the same. These are just moving or transferring funds from one line item to another. So someone could make a motion to, I mean, you're welcome to engage in further discussion, but if this is the direction that you want to go, someone could make a motion to transfer the line items as presented at tonight's meeting as agreed on.
Okay, is there any further discussion on what we just? Yeah, but then I'll look for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make that motion to transfer the funds between specific line items as indicated at the June 20th, 24 roundtable meeting.
All right, so we have a motion to, transfer the funds between the specific line items indicated June 20th, 2024. Roundtable meeting, is there a second?
A second.
All right, Dawn, would you call a roll vote, please?
Pete,
Yeah.
Bobby,
Yay.
Joe,
Yeah.
and Chris. Yeah.
The motion is passed, thank you very much. Is that the one you want to sign? No, that's the one I saw, I only had one. All right. Okay, so the next item up is resolution 2024 R2, supporting participation in the Sustainable Maryland Municipal Certification Program, which provides additional resources and grant opportunities that will help support the continuation of our sustainable communities designation.
Lindsay reworded the resolution.
Did you know?
I don't know.
I did pass out copies before the meeting
Okay,
today, so.
okay, you got it, okay, okay.
All right, so I will read the amended resolution as it reads now as 2024 R2, resolution of the mayor and council of Greensboro supporting participation in the Sustainable Maryland Municipal Certification Program. Okay?
Right.
We vote on that now?
You can.
Okay. So, all in favor of approving resolution 2024 R02, a resolution of the mayor and council of Greensboro supporting participation in the Sustainable Maryland Municipal Certification Program. Would you read the roll, please?
Commissioner Brown,
Yeah.
Commissioner Harrison,
Yay.
Commissioner
Yay.
Robinson. Yeah. Yay.
If some of you wonder why we're doing this on these type of motions, you know, it's hard for the clerk sometimes to know whether or not a council person has even voted, either yay or nay, or just remain mute. So for these important motions, it's important that we have them on record, what the actual council person voted. So if you see we're doing it differently, that's. All right, okay. Does anybody have anything under old business? It's been a while. All right, anybody have any new business from the council they'd like to take up? All right, so then we will start with town council remarks. Christina?
I say something real real quick? Just because the fire department wasn't here, I just want to remind everybody that the rodeo was the 26th and the 27th. You'll never believe that due to the weather being, 130 degrees for the carnival, the participation wasn't as much as they thought it was gonna be, so please go out and support the rodeo for the fire department that supports us. That's all.
July 26th and 27th.
Yes.
The Historical Society will be, hosting an event, and will be advertised, soon, we're gonna have a Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, they're going to actually act out the event, it's free, being sponsored and gonna be on the 28th at the community center, so look for that advertisement to be online by the end of this month, and we appreciate everybody coming up to support. And, I enjoyed the fireworks, I did not attend the carnival, for me, but, the fireworks were lovely, so they did a great job.
Can I just say they're better than Easton?
Oh, and I also attended MML, and that was, a great learning experience, and I look forward to attending the next one and gaining as much knowledge as I can.
I guess the only thing I have is I had a lot of residents come up to me and hope Tammy can correct me on this. When that new water bill came out for the last quarter, the due date was the 15th, but in reality, they could pay it in. Right, I had a person ask me that.
Yes, there was confusion in the past that that other 15 days is a grace period. So the due date is 15, but they have that extra 15 days to get in payment.
Okay, all right.
It used to be due at the end of the month,
Right.
and they do on the 15th, but you really have to the 30th to pay collectively.
There was always a grace period, but the wording wasn't there,
But we got
so.
I have two questions.
Just a minute, because I'm gonna talk about it some more, but then maybe my guys.
I'm good. I just want to thank town guys for maintaining the grass and stuff as hot as it was. They stayed hydrated, but they stayed working with what they had.
So I know what you're talking about first, so, I've had a lot of meetings with Tammy and the staff, and I appreciate their putting up with me. I'm up here almost on a daily basis, and, I heard a lot of complaints about the code violations from the citizens. Feeling as though that we were being unfair, we were being harsh, we were targeting some people. That was never our intent. The intent of the code violations, when I'm talking about code violations, I'm talking about the grass, the property maintenance, leaving cars out in your yard with flat tires and no motors, and all those kinds of things that people don't want to see in their neighborhood. And then the second thing, we heard a lot of complaints about, and the second thing was the water bill. We heard complaints that people weren't getting a grace period. So we changed it so that they had a grace period. So a good deed went bad because we were trying to give them a grace period, and as we moved it forward instead of backward. And so it looked like that we gave them 2 weeks less time to pay, when in reality, they're not late until the end of the month. And then there was a lot of, concern from a lot of people that get paid once or twice a month, early in the month, end of the month. And so, that became an issue. So we have talked about it to death. And behind you, I know you can't understand it, but I think this is our resolution that we've come up with, that hopefully will work best for the public and for the staff, because it's important, it has to work for both, so that we don't have so many dates out there. Why are you laughing at me?
You're so wild.
We'll have so many dates out there that it's hard for the citizens to understand, so we're working on both of those topics. And hopefully we will get it right, and not have to keep changing it, and that the public will understand what's going on better, and we'll get it out on our new website when it's working, and we'll be able to communicate better with them. Now, I hope that answers your question. If not, Mr. Mason, I'll come back to it in a minute. The other good news that I have for you is that when I went to the Maryland Municipal League, I met somebody from the State Highway Administration, and I discussed our favorite red light out here on, 313 and Sunset Avenue. And the one woman looked at me like I was crazy, like, yeah, go away. And then the other woman sitting there, she said, no, that man knows what he's talking about. I know what light he's talking about. So she gave me a card with this guy's name on it. She said, you call this guy, he don't get back to you. So I called him. Fully expecting to not get an answer, and I didn't get an answer from him, because he said, I don't know where Greensboro is, I don't know anything about the light, I know something about a little city, but I'll get somebody to call you. Sure enough, in an hour, Mr. DeBose called me. DeBlades. He said, Mayor, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I was the engineer to put that light in there. And he said, it never should have went there in the first place, the way that it did, we had other plans, it didn't work out. I had been fighting with the powers to be to change it. And so, April of 23, they changed it. And now they're waiting for the engineers to do the drawings for what they're gonna do, so that they can do it. The good thing is that they don't have to put it out to bid, because State Highway is doing it in-house. So it's just a matter of getting the drawing. So the short version of it is, if I can explain it to you right, let's pretend we're coming from Denton to Greensboro. You get the red light. So when the light turns green for you, it will only turn green for you, and it'll have a left turn green and a straight ahead green. So all of that traffic will go, and then it'll turn red, and then Goldsboro, people coming from Goldsboro, will get the left turn only and the green light. They will go, and once that turns red, then the cross traffic will go. That hopefully will alleviate 99. That's what they did by the high school.
River Road, right.
This guy said, I apologize, it took so long to convince them to do this. But at any rate, he wouldn't promise me, but, I told him, I said, well, I'll say it'll be done by the first of the year. He said October, I said first of the year. So that's some good news. So I'm sorry, Mr. Mason.
No, that's one thing. And then my other questions is town charter and code. Since you brought up code, and she brought up town charter, when are those disasters getting rewritten? Or have you guys discussed them? We're gonna have open discussions about them, or,
Now that the budget is,
oh, you wanna start a whole new chapter?
now we start moving forward on that again.
Fine.
So any changes to the town charter will require public notice, and I'm assuming a public hearing and comment and all of that. But to the employee manual, that would just be an in-house decision.
The charter that you guys have started, so it will be, they'll take it a couple chapters at a time, and during the course of a meeting, and
I've raised my hand and said I would work on it like a fool. So if you want to help me, please, I will take all the help I can get, because it is
I already did.
quite an old document. Well,
It's disastrous in certain stages.
he knows.
we'll work on to get it fixed.
And I just want to say one, quick thing. Those dates on the whiteboard are just spitball dates, and how we wanted to have broken down. They are not set in stone. So if you look at them and you put them in your calendar,
Down.
please don't. They are just.
Well, that's it. They don't
idea
understand it. It's
breakdown.
just the process to review.
So I can't take a picture and tag you in it, or what?
I mean, you can tag me in it. I'm gonna have to comment.
We're not gonna raise it, Christina. Everything's fixed.
I'm looking forward to reading the. Back and forth.
Okay, anybody else? We all done? Yeah. We'll look for a motion to adjourn,
I will make the motion to adjourn the.
second, all in favor? Good night.
No closed session?
Thank you for coming.
No.
Okay.
We don't need to. close session. We can thank Linda, she's doing more.